Very good morning to all of you that are in Europe, and good afternoon to those of you that are in Asia. We are delighted to start today the second day of the conference that is dedicated to SMEs going circular and explore the topic that is related with the carbonization of food supply chains. We are here to provide ideas, solutions, and exchange knowledge and practices about how to accelerate and how to enable SMEs to transition towards circular economy and therefore contribute to net zero. We are delighted to have today distinguished companies and the speakers that will share with us the practices from agriculture through AI and different innovation that they have been leading and helping the business and private sector to create a change that we all would like to see scaled up and more contribute towards circularity. We have spent yesterday looking into enablers and how to create familiar and supportive ecosystem for SMEs to decarbonize. And then we also look at different case studies related to innovation. And we will also continue today to provide for you the landscape and the ideas and solutions that hopefully will trigger the change we would like to see. Thank you so much for joining us. And having said that, I would like to invite you all warmly to our panel that will be looking into business case studies that will create for us, hopefully, food for thought, and later on trigger the innovation that we have. And then I just would like to, without any further ado, introduce Chiara FUSARI. Chiara FUSARI will be joining us to present the case study from Agricolous. She's working at European Research Project Division. And Agricolous is an innovative startup that is working in smart farming sector. It supports farmers and operators of this sector in optimizing agronomic practices by making innovative technologies accessible and easy to use. Dear Chiara, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. So yes, I am very happy to be here and to share with you what is Agricolous and how we work. So if we can see the next slide, this is Agricolous basically. This is what farmers see when they access our platform, because what we do is to supply innovative technologies for agriculture, and our mission is making agritech sustainable. That for us means basically supporting farmers and technicians and operators within the agricultural sector in optimizing their everyday work. To do so, as has said, we believe that making innovative solutions accessible and easy to use is central and is pivotal. If we can go to the next slide, we can see a little bit of our story. Because Agricolous is born in 2017 in Perugia, which is in the heart of Italy. But our story starts before, from the partnership of TeamDev and Edit, which TeamDev is a large tech company, experts in geographic information system. And Edit is a spin-off of the University of Sant'Anna. And we can see how this partnership between company and universities is kind of the core of our business model and our startup. We developed the first forecast model for olive oils, grapes, and tobacco, because we are in Italy, so olives and grapes is central. And then we started the startup. In 2018, we launched our software as a service platform, which is the house of all of our services. We also started Agricolous Free, which is very important for us because in a sector such as the agricultural one, where farmers are always kind of reticent to adopt new innovations, and there is a general backwardness of the sector, we believe that the possibility to access easily and without cost the platform, even if for simplified services. And get to know it, it's essential in gaining trust of farmers. And this is also the main objective of Agricolous Academy, which is used to train and to explain how Agricolous work more than what we do. We in 2019 and 2020 we kept growing, and we extended our network. And in 2021, we started to look at the whole value chain. So we started from the field, farming, but we also believe that it is impossible to imagine a decarbonization of the value chain without considering all the many steps the food value chain is made by. And so we developed AgriTrack, which offered the possibility to track products and to create ecosystems for farmers, food processors, and resellers, and AgriFlag, which is our first hardware. If we can go to the next slide, we can see here what is Agricolous today, because as said, we have born in 2017 and we kept growing. So nowadays we are able to form more than 2,500 experts. We have 37 global partners, and I will show how this is crucial for us. We have many international projects going on, and the platform is available in more than 8 languages and active in 69 countries. If we can go to the next slide, I want to show you our philosophy. I don't know how many of you are confident with the concept of precision agriculture. To say it briefly, for us, precision agriculture means supporting farmers in understanding how to apply the right treatment in the minimum amount, in the right place and at the right time, and how this can be done only through new technologies. So merging farmers' knowledge, traditional knowledge, university knowledge, let's say, with the use of information technologies. So we, in the next slide, we can see, yes, that these are the technologies we adopt. We work on 3 main pillars: monitoring, forecast, and decision. Monitoring is done through field mapping and data collection through sensors and crop scouting. This allows us to collect all the data we need to develop the forecast model, which allow the farmer to understand what is going and what will happen in the near future within its field. This all integrate the decision support system, which is the star of our services, because its ambition is to give farmers practical suggestions. So when it is best to irrigate, how to irrigate, or apply fertilizer, or etc. So in the next slide, we can see how we want our ambition is not to substitute the work of the farm, but to integrate and support him, giving him database knowledge. So we work with farmers, but we also work with association and consortium, which in Italy are very spread and very common. We also want to support professional and agronomists, but of course we cannot work without considering the whole value chain and the public administration. In the next slide, I wanted to show you a brief extract of Agricolous business model Canva, where I highlighted what are the levers and the barriers we can meet in our work. And as I said, universities and research centers are a main lever, and we think that the knowledge triangle is essential in bringing innovation to the market in a sector that is not always prone to be innovative. And on this, the academy plays a central role, because to gain the trust of farmers, it's not sufficient to say, okay, you can use this platform, you can do this and this and this. If he is not aware of how things work and how to efficiently use it, it will be just not useful. It's also important, as said in our mission, to create solutions that are easy to use and useful for them. So the co-creation activities are essential. We want to engage with farmers. We have programs, especially related to this direct contact with them. And through the organization of workshop and customer engagement activities, test beds, etc. And of course, the fact that in Italy cooperatives are very spread and present in the territory and often guide also the action of farmers, for us is an important lever. Of course, the role of authorities is depends a lot, and so this can be both a lever or a barriers. In the next slide, we can see what are our services and how the core principle of our startup is modularity, because we decided to integrate horizontal modules with vertical modules, and modules are basically services. So you can have horizontal modules which offer support in understanding and farming more than 130 cultures, and they are available in different options according to the extent of the farm, but this can also be integrated with vertical monocultural modules, which are the DSS, so the decision support system, which are referred to grain, to maize, to grape, tobacco, olive, and tomato, which are the main cultures in Italy, but we are also working to develop them in other countries. And then, as said, we want to open our platform and work with other companies and other systems. So we developed Agricolous API, which allows other companies to integrate their services with Agricolous platform. And as said, AgriTrag and AgriPlug. The Academy is our is one of our main jewel, let's say, because this allows us to keep contact with farmers and to train them not only in the use of the platform, but also on the idea of precision agriculture in its functioning and in changing their attitude toward innovation. If we can go to the next slide, we can see that we have a multidisciplinary team, which is essential in working on such a heterogeneous field. So we have a development area where we work with data analysts and GIS experts, a research area where we also have a lot of PhD in the idea of working with universities, and then of course the marketing and area. If we can go to the next slide. Okay, just to say that, as said, we believe that research and bring innovation to the market is essential. For this reason, Agricolous is an important actor in the European research related to agri-tech. We work on different Horizon projects, but also we are partner of AT-Food and FUSARI. And in the next slide, we can see how also industrial research is important for granting the growth of the service we offer and find new solutions for the challenge of the agri-food sector. Finally, I want to conclude with the next slide, where we see what is the commitment of Agricolous toward the SDGs, because we know that the challenge of our time is to find and strike a balance between what is the ecological balance and what is the social balance. So produce more, hopefully, or keep producing, but in a new way and in a transformed way. And to do so, it's important to guide farmers in saving resources, so save water and inputs, chemical inputs, they must be minimized, etc. But it's also important to support farmers in reducing their own cost. We saw that prices today are a challenge and they are growing. So the possibility to reduce inputs is essential for farmers. And this all goes toward the fact that it is possible to improve product quality and quantity through the adoption of new technologies. And this all is not possible to be done alone. And this is why Agricolous strongly believe in the importance of creating a new partnership. So I really thank you, and I leave the floor to my the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chiara, for sharing the model that Agricolous has been practicing. I think we not only got the overview of what your company is doing, but we also get quite good insight into what are the benefits of so-called precision agriculture. I think it is excellent to see how we can optimize the resources we have using the technology and collaborating together and having the innovation supporting the existing conditions. So thank you so much for that. And then now I would like to move forward to Ms. Nayung Ro. She has been CEO at Marine Innovation. Marine Innovation provides innovative technological solutions to the maritime industry through its wide range of products and services offered to the shipping companies globally. So we will move a bit in the food supply chain. And Dilmagan, the floor is yours.
Yes. Hi. Yes. Good morning here in Europe. Yes, Luxembourg, and then good afternoon in Asia. Yes, I am Megan, CEO of Marine Innovation. The whole world is talking about plastic pollution, and COVID-19 pandemic has contributed to increased plastic use. Next, please. I'm here today to talk about one single goal. If we can stop using such a common item, why don't we tackle the problem by fundamentally changing the raw materials? And our solution is green, sustainable, natural fibers. Marine Innovation is switching to eco-friendly, naturally sourced plastic alternatives with natural virgin materials. Next, please. Marine Innovation considers 4 basic criteria for eco products. Products have to be 100% biodegradable, should be plant-based, 0 chemicals in productions, and no toxins from plastic burnings. And we believe that when it comes to products, that means everything from raw materials to production needs to be safe for the environment. Next, please. Marine Innovation is green initiative based in Korea, established in 2019 with the goal to replace the single-use plastics. Have you seen or used single-use cups, which is no microplastics detected, 56 days to biodegrade, and internationally certified bio-based labels? What else more do you ask for? Next, please. Our seaweed-based products are world-changing innovations with 3 competitive success. Our solutions are raw materials. It has to be sustainable plants, technology innovations, no chemicals added during productions, and functions, which is biodegradable. Products produced by Marine Innovation are addressing alternatives to single-use plastics. And the basic reasons for selecting any business is the demand in the market. It's a matter of time. Marine Innovation's bio-based products are timely arrived to connect our innovation with every industry in the world. And both the industry and consumers are demanding more sustainable solutions for their packaging materials, and also demanding us. Solution exists and represents huge potential market opportunity, and we are at the commercial level. Next, please. Our seaweed-based products are widely applicable in various different markets, corporations, both large and small regions, countries. Definitely need alternatives for green disposables. Businesses will explore our smart, more sustainable, and more cost-effective materials and discover how these green sustainable materials can bring about massive consumption savings to the business with innovation, performance, and cost effectiveness. So here, products made of byproducts, which is the waste, which can be used as alternatives to wood. Our competitive advantage is raw material. We are reusing raw materials, which is the waste, to transform into the end products. Seaweed byproducts' biggest potential lies in disposable packagings. Marine Innovation's seaweed-based products are world-changing innovations. So what we are doing here is something significant because it is the world's first of its kind seaweed-based products made out of seaweed byproduct. We are also challenging ourselves in widespread applications, including industrial packaging. And more high-value products are also being developed in widespread applications as well. Next, please. Through our journey, we have created tangible changes. A startup like us, winning awards and recognitions can signal to the world that we have arrived. We believe that awards and recognitions, including Prime Minister's prizes, President Moon's citations, and 6 prizes from the ministry, not only domestically, but also in the worldwide, we selected to receive 2021 World Star Global Packaging Awards, and also Asia Star 2020 as the best of the best in Asia. And also a finalist at 2020 Dubai Expo is the proof of our innovation and should be an important part of each business. Not only that, active participations in domestics and global events, partnerships with big names, a total of patents, 54 patents, and a lot more. Our joint venture in France is also a significant step for global localizations as well. Next, please. There is significant momentum for initiatives by retailers and hospitality businesses to reduce their use of single-use plastics, and we are thinking big and creating ambitious forecasts. We have started to connect the wall regarding the tangible prospects of business developments. It's a matter of time that we need to activate and build our presence in the world. And the key project activities, including the scaling up the operations to increase production capacities, and also branching out to the new global markets and continue R&D, research and development into the raw materials and finished products. And also we want to raise the funds for our localization expansions. Next, please. Here at Marine Innovation, we are small, but the team of active contributors with industry experts with qualifications, and who are responsible for growing the company to achieve awards and recognitions globally as the proof of our technology innovations and sustainable materials to make a difference for the environment. Next, please. Currently, we got funded 1 million euros in total. We are actively starting towards many different areas for the development. In Series A, in the funding rounds of 50 million euro for in-house production establishments. Next, please. The world is facing new laws. Everyone is saying that no more plastic packaging in 2023. Marine Innovation is ready to talk to the world that we are switching to eco-friendly, naturally sourced plastic alternatives with natural virgin materials. When big industries have to solve the issues on plastics, we have the solutions. In 2019, the whole world was talking about plastic pollutions, but now the whole world is talking about the alternatives. We need to find alternatives if we want to cut waste before we ban all plastics. I was Megan, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for providing such a comprehensive overview of what you have been doing within Marine Innovation. I think it is very timely to address the issue of plastic, among others, especially plastic packaging, and then the innovation you are creating by proposing the alternatives to different materials that are being used in the transportation and across food supply chains. And taking into account how shipping industry is creating the pollution nowadays and contributing to different levels of waste, this is more than relevant to look into alternatives, especially when, as you mentioned, it is possible to make profit and it is possible to have alternatives that work and create new market for those materials and spread the innovation. So thank you so much for sharing your business model with us. And having said that, I would like to continue with another innovative company, in short, BIKI, and then give the floor to Mr. Muhammad Hafid, ROSIDIN, who is CEO at Berkah Inovasi Kreatif Indonesia. BIKI develops integrated technological innovations in agricultural commodities that produce a high value-added product and environmentally friendly ones that are beneficial to the society. To reveal more about your business operations, Mr. ROSIDIN, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Hafid ROSIDIN. You can call me Hafid. I'm from Indonesia. I'm the founder and CEO of BIKI, startup from Indonesia, Berkah Inovasi Kreatif Indonesia. I'm very glad to be here and thanks for the change. I will present the topic circular economy using food production by products. Next. Our startup has missions to innovate in sustainable agriculture for the realization of food security and community welfare. Inspired by nature method of preservation, we made it our mission to build a barrier that could be applied for fruit and vegetables using edible materials that could slow down the rate of spoilage to help support program Sustainable Development Goals number 2, Zero Hunger, number 12, Responsible Consumption and Production, and also number 13, Climate Action. Next. So we get the data from FAO. The most food loss and waste in the world comes from fruits and vegetables communities. In developing countries like my countries, Indonesia, fruit and vegetables are wasted before reach the consumer or food loss. Data from Indonesian Development Planning Agency said that more than 63% fruits and vegetables loss of the total supply. The amount reached 20 million tons per year, and the financial loss reached 221 trillion rupiah or 15 billion US dollar per year. You can imagine, not only that, the formation of methane and carbon dioxide, which can cause global warming. So this is really a big problem. Next. Our startup brings the solution from this problem. For food loss, we make innovation, edible coating. The brand is Citasil, nature, kaitasan biomaterial-based protection for fruits and vegetables that can help last longer and has been proven to extend shelf life of more than 30 fruits and vegetables commodities at least 2 until 3 times. For food waste, we conducted a campaign for the movement to reduce food and vegetables to start develop products for B2C markets. Why us? Because our product, you cannot see it, you cannot taste it, you cannot smell it, but this our is powerful. Next. Our startup innovations inspired by circular economy concept and business model. The main material of Citasil is a chitosan biomaterial that we are extracted from shrimp cells, which is the byproduct from frozen shrimp industry. We also produce biomaterial chitin from agriculture function to biosupplement, biofungicide, and bioimmunizers. You know, my country, Indonesia, is the largest shrimp exporter in the world. But you must know more than 50% of frozen shrimp processing industry produce shrimp cells that are unutilized. Even the Indonesian Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Fisheries targets 250% increase in frozen shrimp export. Can you imagine how many shrimp cells are produced each year? And every single year, this is continue to be left without integrated solution. So start from 2018, we start the trial and research, utilize this byproduct into biomaterials and process byproduct with product with high value added. And in 2019, we started to develop product Citasil edible coating from chitosan biomaterials. Next. This is our product works. The product Citasil adds a layer of tasteless, odorless, nature-based protection on the surface of fruit and vegetables. This helps keep moisture in, oxygen out, and improve antibacterial activity, which means produce last longer. Next. This is our sustainability impact in business impact brief. The environmental impact of our startup is reduce unused shrimp cells, which is the raw materials, reduce plastic packaging, reduce food loss and waste of fruit and vegetables, which is the most waste food community in my country, Indonesia, and contribute in environmental movement to prevent climate change with reduced methane and carbon dioxide. The social impact of our startup is improved community welfare, especially for farmers, from food loss risk reduction by reducing more than 2,000 tons in 2021, help balance the supply and demand of our food system so that more people can be fed, and educate the public not to throw away food carelessly because there are still many of our people who are hungry. And the economic impact of our startup is that we can empower the surrounding environment, improve the living standard, reduce unemployment, and also increase the state income. Next. And this is sustainability life cycle in an ET matrix, material, energy, and toxicity matrix. We have the commitment using the renewable material, low energy emission, and doesn't produce toxic byproducts. Next. The challenges of the realization circular economy business model of our startup is educate the customers, the government regulations, supporting facilities, technology, and better business model. All of these challenges can be minimized by working together and collaborating with the various stakeholders, because we believe when we are solving big problem, then we must join hand together. Next. The potential of food processing byproduct materials is really big. All of byproduct, especially in the food and agricultural industry, have a great potential to be reprocessed into the biomaterial or high value-added product that have a great potential both domestically and exported abroad with various innovation and the technology. Next. Okay, this is the last. Let's solve this problem together, because this really big problem, food security and community welfare for a better place. I hope what I can present can be useful for everyone. I'm so sorry I cannot join in the Q&A session because I have other scheduled agenda. If you have any questions and or potential collaboration, you can contact me via WhatsApp, Instagram, or email. Thank you for having me on this forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hafid. I think this is very interesting what you are doing, because you are not only doing business operation that is obviously profitable, you are making we are making profit out of waste, and you call it very nicely waste valorization. But what you have just explained, you are not only contributing to different levels of waste reduction, but also to circularity and to education and different levels of changing of attitudes among stakeholders involved in the process. So thank you so much for sharing with us this business case study. As already indicated, you can already see on our project page from day one, all the presentations are already uploaded, and unfortunately you cannot join us for the Q&A session. However, your presentation will be uploaded there, as well as the contact details that you kindly agreed to share with the audience that will be visiting and hopefully checking out what you are doing. So thank you so much. And now I would like to move to the next business case study and invite Ms. Gillian Santos. She's the founder and CEO of B2B agri-tech startup that is named Anihan Technologies, and they are on the mission to reduce food loss. So it is in similar category as BIKI before, mostly operating in Asia and help building competitive agri-value chains through deep technologies. Dear Gillian, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gillian Santos, the CEO of Anihan Technologies. We're an early stage startup that measures storage quality and spoilage rate, and we provide fresh produce growers and distributors with the information that they need to maintain freshness and ultimately reduce food loss. Next slide, please. I'd like to introduce you to Martin and Josie, one of the thousands of people responsible for putting food to the market and to our table. Next slide. Every day, they have to face the challenges of manually tracking their operations, delays in food testing, and meeting strict quality standards for local and international distribution. Now, both Martin and Josie want to deliver and supply fresh food all the time. But when handling fresh food, you need to maintain its quality or it'll end up in a bin. And it doesn't end there. A lot of fresh food gets lost at each stage of the supply chain before it even reaches consumers. In the Philippines, 10 to 50% of food is lost during production and the post-harvest stage. And this is costing our crop industry roughly $2.5 billion per year. Next slide. Reducing food loss is a cheaper approach than increasing production. It's also a critical element in creating sustainable food systems. So that's where we come in. Next slide, please. Anitech provides growers and distributors with actionable data on storage quality and spoilage rate through our sensor systems and platform. Our SQS system can monitor environmental conditions that impact food quality and yield. Our FQS system can detect pesticide level and predict spoilage rate. The data collected from our systems is sent to the cloud and visualized through our dashboards. We also give automated notifications to users via SMS and weekly summary reports. Next slide. If a grower like Martin avails our monitor and trace plan, we can help him monitor his greenhouse remotely and save 9 hours in data processing. Once he receives our notification, he would now know when to turn his misting equipment on or off to lessen heat stress. If a distributor like Josie avails our monitor and optimize plan, she'll know which batch can be sent to farther regions and which needs to be sold faster because it's about to spoil. Next slide. With this complete and flexible solution, Anitech helps Martin and Josie deliver good quality fresh goods to their customers and save 5% of their costs due to spoilage. As a result, they can distribute more by spending less resources, helping them become more competitive in the market. Next slide. Anitech disrupts the status quo of doing invasive testing, running them in a lab, and sending reports several days later. With Anitech, you no longer have to invest in bulky and expensive lab-type equipment or commercial sensors that can only monitor one type of environmental condition. And unlike other current solutions in the market, Anitech is the only startup in the Philippines that can give you real-time, actionable insights from production up to the post-harvest stage of the supply chain. Next slide. The fruit and vegetable market of the Philippines is valued at $12.7 billion. We have a serviceable addressable market of $48.6 million consisting of high-value crops, and over the next 5 years, Anitech intends to capture 5% of the high-value crop market, and maybe over in the next 10 years, we would want to penetrate the ASEAN region as well. Next slide, please. At the early stages, we are looking to partner with farm co-ops, universities, and NGOs for capacity building activities. We also need to partner with food safety agencies to recognize Anitech as a commercial standard for food quality testing. And lastly, we need to collaborate with government agencies and international organizations that can help Anitech be part of programs involved with making agricultural policies and roadmaps. Next slide. Anitech will be tapping into 3 revenue streams. For the monitor and trace plan, we require a $500 down payment to avail our system and charge a recurring fee of $100. For the monitor and optimize plan, we require a $2,000 down payment to avail our system and charge a recurring fee of $200. We also require a 1-year lock-in period for subscription, and we are both hardware and software as a service then. So we also plan to offer food loss analytic consulting services to government agencies, NGOs, and corporations. Next slide. In less than a year, we have a pilot test-ready prototype for the SQS system. Next slide. Next slide, please. We've also won 4 competitions. Next slide. We've done 30 market validation interviews with 22 farmers in Bukidnon and 8 agribusinesses. Next slide, please. We partnered with Foodie Box Group Malaysia, became an EU Tech Chamber advocate, and an incubatee of the PhilDev Foundation. Next slide, please. We also managed to secure a startup collaboration agreement with Farm One and conducted a pilot test in their 100 square meter greenhouse. We also secured a letter of intent with MKP to do a pilot test in their 50 square meter hydroponic grow room. Next slide. This June, we intend to develop 2 more dashboards for our platform, create an improved version of our FQS system, and onboard 5 more early adopters for pilot testing. Next slide, please. By monitoring storage conditions, urban farmers, distributors, and exporters will be able to optimize their inventory, and ultimately, it will reduce food losses by 5% and increase yield by 3%. Next slide, please. Through the mass adoption of our solutions, Anitech will develop and continuously innovate deep technologies to promote the manufacturing industry here in the Philippines and make it more competitive. Next slide, please. As we continuously collect storage quality and food loss data, growers and distributors can maintain freshness longer throughout the supply chain. This will allow consumers to have better and easier access to good quality fresh food. Over time, Anitech aims to be this entire ecosystem that can help from analytics to extending shelf life to adding more sensors and even creating our own post-harvest facilities. Through Anitech, we want our country and other neighboring countries to become better providers of fresh crops, and it all starts by minimizing food loss. Next slide. This is our team. I am joined by my co-founders, Daniel, Paolo, and Anthony, where we have 20 years of combined research experience in the fields of data analytics, economics, environmental science, and material science. Our R&D advisor is my father, Dr. Santos, with more than a decade of experience in acquiring research grants. And Jimmy Lee is our startup advisor, with over 19 years of experience mentoring and managing startups. Next slide. So we are actively seeking partners, we're actively seeking grant funding and angel funding to improve our core technology and commercially deploy a system that has been tried and tested by our early adopters. Thank you, and we hope you can be part of Anitech's mission to reduce food loss in Asia.
Thank you so much, Gillian, for this passionate presentation. As we can see, the issue of food loss is being actively tackled by different companies that are innovating and educating and building on the experience among generations. And then they are all looking actively for partnerships and collaboration, which is something that we are hoping to offer by providing the wide network. We have over 400 participants that have registered for this conference. And this is also something that we are hoping to contribute and ensure that there would be future collaboration after that event. That will not only help the companies, but will also help to address the issues related with food waste and food loss. And as you mentioned, among many points that your company is contributing to, also in the end of the day, enable consumer access to fresh food and eliminate waste that is unnecessary and currently happening, given ongoing challenges with food supplies nowadays. This is more timely than ever before to ensure the resilience of our food supply chains. Thank you so much. And then having said that, I would like to now invite you to another very interesting case study. And then we will have Mr. Filipe, who is the founder of Agri Marketplace. And Agri Marketplace is a B2B cloud-based digital marketplace company that specializes in utilizing e-commerce and food traceability with blockchain to create more efficiency and transparency in food distribution. Dear Filipe, the floor is yours.
Hi. My name is Filipe NÚNCIO. I'm the founder of Agri Marketplace, and can we please move to the next slide? Okay, digital trading platform is a platform that combines, that puts together the needs of the farmers to sell their products and the food processors to find the right match from the producers, and that's the reason we have built this platform. I'm a farmer, and I also miss these kind of tools to sell my products better in the market. Can we move next? So the sellers, we are trying to solve a problem of accessing the buyers worldwide. There is a big problem and big constraints from the sellers to find the right seller in their markets. And also the buyers, the sellers and the farmers are so optimized around the world that by a digital trading platform, we can easily find the perfect match for your needs and demands. Next. Right now, the process, a simple process, is illustrated in this picture, where you have to surpass so many different tasks until you have your transaction done. You have to combine so many different skills, so many different knowledge. So what we have done in the platform is to incorporate all those processes inside of a platform. Can you move next? And Agri Marketplace is doing everything that is concerned with regarding the transactions and the posting the offers, posting the bids, and then we rely on partners to do the rest of the jobs, like the tasks, like shipping, logistics, quality insurance, financial secure payments, and so on. So we are not only together working alone in this platform, but we are counting and relying on key partners to do the specific tasks to ensure that all the process from the farmers until the agro industry is covered by features in the platform. Can we move next? So this way, Agri Marketplace is a trading platform that does all the tasks from the farmers to the agro industry with no need of extra and additionality and addition skills from the farmers or from the agro industries to do their deals. Can we move next? This is how it looks, the order board, where you can see in orange bids from the buyers, in blue some offers from the sellers. We can also find this case, and these examples use rice. You can also try to do a query to find the product you are looking for. Each of those squares are offers and bids, but of course, if you push that square, you can see all the detailed spec of these lots. We are also trading grains, nuts, and olive oil right now. We want to start coffee soon. Can we move next? And that's the go-to-market strategy. We have started in Portugal and Spain, then we have moved to France and the United States, special for nuts, California, and we aim to be global this year, okay? Next. Those are the main benefits and main constraints we can find in a trading platform like this. I think we can get more value for the crops, for the farmers, free access to global markets, so the farmers don't have to pay anything to post their offers, transparency, because we see the prices of every lot available for a similar product that we have offered, and then we can check what kind of deals they've made with similar products than us. Safety, because we have secure payment systems and checking quality for the product that are shipped before the shipping. Easy and convenience, because it's very easy to post an offer, it's very easy to negotiate the offer digitally, and it's very easy to deal and get the money for the crop. Main constraints, buyer resistance. The buyers have so much leverage with an opaque process for trading that we have right now, that they have quite resistance to move for digital, where we have much more balanced between the farmers and the buyers. Then the sellers, many of them have lack of digital skills, and of course we want to move to a more digital process. But for example, the sample handling, we have always to have persons managing that kind of procedures. So I think the future and the actual business model is a combination between the physical, personally management and the digital platform. Can we move next? Okay, the new challenge we have started in the second part of the last year is carbon farming. Can we move next? So the carbon farming comes from the needs of the food industry to offset their footprint, and also the potential capability of the farmers to generate their own carbon credits. So we have looked to this opportunity because we have a platform between these two parties, the farmers and the food industry, and we are starting to develop this process of generating in the voluntary markets for carbon, trying to approach the farmers, empower them to generate their own credits, and then post those credits in the platform to sell them to the industries and companies and services companies. Next. So the potential of these carbon credits is huge, as you know. We have enlarged the coverage of the markets, not only for the food industry, but also for services companies, and that's the model business we have built so far. We have already more than 8,000 hectares of farmers already in the program, and we are relying on INR and S317 to do all the assessment to the farmers and the certification for the carbon credits. It's important to say that we are building this business model based on carbon credits generated by measurable and measurable methodologies. So we are not estimating the sequestration or reduction of carbon in a certain farm based on estimation, but only by measurable methodologies and measuring samples and so on. And also we are certifying of course, based on the most recognized standards. And also, we are doing and generating those carbon credits in farmers close to the companies that want to buy them, in order to be able to those companies to state to their stakeholders that they are providing, they are buying and those carbon credits and leaving the benefits close to them in the close communities, in their countries, in their regions, and not in a far region and out of their countries. Next. So the benefits is more sustainability for EU farming sector. Companies have easy access to carbon credits, which is not easy right now. Local proximity, local proximity carbon credit generation. So companies can buy those carbon credits from local farmers. Currency and credibility. We are not estimating anything. We are only using the most demanding standards, and easy and convenient to buy and sell because we are using the same platform to do that. Main constraints: no free access for mandatory market. UE is limiting a lot the access for these voluntary markets. No rewards for early adopters. So the farmers that are already very sustainable don't have access to generate their own credits with the actual standards. What I think is wrong. Project activity adoption rates, it's not eligible when we have when it's not a new practice. It's not eligible to generate the credits, a changing of practice in the farms, which I think what we think it's not right as well. It's not the inclusive rule, but an exclusive rule. And many standards, they don't allow a multi-project flexibility to generate the credits. This is more technical, but it's also a big constraint. So next. This is what we have achieved so far. We have traded in 2021 more than 15 million euros in 2021. Of course, we expect to at least double this number this year, according with the sales we have so far until the middle of this, until the end of June. Forecasted until the end of June, and we think also carbon farming business will help us to increase these numbers. Next. So this is a team that made everything that we have achieved so far possible. And next, this is these are the awards that we have been recognized as one of the most innovative companies in Europe and in the world for these specific trading platforms space that we are moving. Thank you so far thank you for your availability and for this invitation for this presentation. And I will be available in questions and answers later on.
Thank you so much, dear Filipe, for guiding us through the complexity of B2B marketplace solutions. I have to admit that I think the sophistication of the solutions you are providing is definitely something that everybody would be very much interested to dive into in greater detail. And then the complexity of the solutions, the way you are presenting it and trying to make it accessible to people that are trying to join the global marketplace, it's really impressive. So thank you so much for sharing your solutions with us. And then we hope to learn more as we progress during collaboration in partnership. And then having said that, I would like to now invite Amparo, the Innovation Manager at AI Intelligence Talentum, It is also a company that is offering advanced technological solutions in the fields of Industry 4.0, food, energy, and IoT. AI Talentum developed and implements computer systems that are helping in decision-making based on quantitative statistical techniques and machine learning. And before I will pass the floor to Amparo, I just wanted to ask our audience for understanding, because we had some technological challenges, and then there might be a little bit of delay while we are connecting with her. Thank you, and then dear Amparo, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Grazyna. Hope you can hear me well during my presentation.
Yes.
Yes, I have some delay with the video, so I try to make it as good as possible. So, okay, again, hello to everyone. Thank you to the event for inviting us. So today I'm going to make an introduction about what we do. Then I will move to give some bits on how AI can contribute to sustainability. Next, I will present you a use case where we took part last year, and we'll end with some drivers and barriers for the implementation of AI in SMEs, food companies, and what we consider necessary to scale up. So next, please confirm me that we are in the slide that is like who we are, and now I can figure out what we are. Okay, so we are a Spanish technology-based company, as Grazyna said, working on artificial intelligence and doing a special focus on predictive models, and with 5 main areas of activity like energy, food and environment, IoT, and Industry 4.0. And our mission is to transform data into valuable knowledge for companies by using AI. Next, please. Here you can see a sample of some recent projects. They vary from personalized nutrition with recommendations according to the profile of the user to food safety, food waste, and food transparency, but all of them having the use of AI in common to somehow improve processes or decision making. So next, please. So how AI can contribute to sustainability? One of the ways to the of emissions. Let's see it. So next, please. Okay, so we use to associate the application of artificial intelligence with business-related issues. However, it is a technology that reaches innovations in many different sectors. So in the context of sustainability, artificial intelligence is all in terms of efficiency and also reducing waste. Next, please. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, can you hear me well now? Okay, thank you. So here are some use cases of AI, some examples. The use of AI in the fight in climate change is a growing trend. And here we can see some examples on how it is being used. For instance, for tracking greenhouse gas emissions, industrial sites, or improving the energy efficiency of facilities at industrial processes. Also in the design of new products to reduce waste and emissions, for instance, during prototyping, production, and use. Also for inventory management, what improves demand planning and reduce food, product, and raw material waste. And another example is the route optimization and fleet management. Next, please. Broadly speaking, we can group the benefits that the use of AI promotes in the calculation of the carbon footprint into 3 groups. First one is automation and monitoring. use AI to automatically track emissions, a carbon footprint, for instance, operations data, corporate travel, IT equipment, materials, components, and so on. The second is prediction. AI helps cut future emissions across a company's carbon footprint related to carbon reduction efforts, new carbon methodologies, and future demands, and also reduction as a result of the previous company more accurately set, adjust, or achieve reduction targets. But if companies don't collect and analyze all data and emission factors, they cannot expect to have accurate results. That's very important. Next, please. All of the previous was the motivation for us to taking part in the project IFISCAN. It is a test bed to make the fish scanning industry a more sustainable one. Next, please. IFISCAN was a cross-kick action between 3 EITs with partners from Spain and Portugal, which are countries with an important fish scanning industry. And the test bed was deployed in Conservas Piñais, that is one of the oldest and most in the world from Portugal. So if you go there, I go green too. It's a software that we have developed for the quantification of environmental impact, the carbon emissions and water footprint of industrial processes in food industry. Please. So regarding the motivation, we have to say that food loss and waste in the fish processing chain is a big problem, with approximately 35% of the input raw material being lost. And in the transformation process of tuna, only a 45% is scanned. So here, digitization presents the transformation of companies toward a more sustainable model. With this in mind, the objective of IFISCAN was to value all the waste produced, measuring the losses, gathering low-level data, and bringing it to a decision-making level. Next, please. So remember what I mentioned before regarding collection and data analysis. Well, to solve that issue, we installed sensors on the smart device to obtain accurate data. Next, please. We started by sensorizing every stage of the process. So we got accurate information. Then the data was processed and stored in a database. And there is where the calculation of environmental impact is done and where the AI algorithms are running. So next, please. This comprehensive monitoring provides the knowledge of the formation of the carbon and water footprint in each of the specific processes of the fish scanning industry. And using the AI, the manager can know the effect of the operational decisions on the carbon and water footprint, or the level of waste that the processes are generating. Next, please. We also provide specific information very useful for the carbonization plan. On the left, you have a summary of the environmental impact of the activity by scope and graphically, and on the right, you have the economic information on carbon prices. So this information helps companies assess the investment needs to reduce or mitigate the environmental impact they are creating. Next, please. AI also enables the use of predictive tools, so we can generate simulations of future scenarios, being able to anticipate the level of emissions, water consumption of or food waste of the production process. Next, please. So regarding the conclusions and results of the IFISCAN, we have that AI contributed to 10% less raw material losses, the optimization of water and energy, varying from between 5–10% less energy consumption and between 5–20% less water consumption, depending on the specific process of the production chain. and it provided predictive power to the decision process, helping the companies better planning their decarbonization plans and mitigation activities. Next, please. So we are ending with some drivers and barriers for the use and implementation of AI in SME food companies. I think that this slide is missed, right? Driver and barriers. Okay, sorry. Okay, so yes, so I just wanted to mention that for scaling up, we believe that the most important thing is make the of environmental impact easy for companies. For that, we are working in having a big catalog with as many possible inside the food industry. So this that any on environmental impact. And for that, what we aim is to collaborate with different types of industry inside the food sector. And that's all from my side. Sorry for the technical. Apart from that, I hope you have learned a bit about how we are using it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Amparo. I think for the most of it, we could understand what you are saying quite well. Just towards the very last slide, actually, the connection became a little bit choppy. But we had another yet example, thanks to you sharing with us your business model about how we can eliminate inefficiency using technology to optimize the use of the existing resources. And then it can very fast result in the elimination of the food waste, looking into optimization also helps to reduce monetary losses and overall contributes to sustainability. So thank you so much for sharing those examples. And then I am clearly out of my depth regarding the highly sophisticated technological solutions in the agri-food sector, but this is more than ever important to have such an excellent experts as all of you sharing with us what you are doing. And having said that, I would like to now invite everybody to the Q&A session. We got some questions from the audience. And then but then I would just like to start with the overarching questions about what is that you need to enable you to scale up your operation or to go bigger or do more, because you have all mentioned in your presentation about the importance of collaboration. But if you would also pinpoint what is this one thing that really can trigger the change and ensure that we are all moving towards circular business model and it becomes the imperative and something that is our reality, not just at the moment very still small area of operating, especially in Asia and Europe. When we are looking at the percentages, the technology innovating companies are not the majority. They are still leading the way, but not being the major force. So this is something we would like to look at. And what is that is really blocking you? When you think about how you would like to expand, how much more you could do, what would be the thing that is really an obstacle that you can pinpoint to us? And then if you can, there are two questions from the audience. One is why organic farming is not yet popular and failed to replace existing practices. And another one, it's quite specific, which is asking Agri MP, does the seller and buyer arrange their own logistics or you have a third-party company involved? So I believe it is to Agri Marketplace specific question. So if you can also address when you are talking about enablers and barriers, that would be fantastic. And maybe we can start the Q&A with the order of proceeding, starting with Chiara. If you can react to that question, that would be excellent.
Okay, all right. I'll try to ask at my best. So regarding the barriers, that's a very broad question. Let's say that there are some different things we can think of. And for example, regarding Agricolous, I think that it's important to distinguish, how can I say, like environmental barriers regarding, for example, the approach farmers and the whole agricultural sector often has toward technologies. And this actually forced us to review sometimes our strategy, to change approach, to transform also our business models. So this is, I mean, every startup knows that they change a lot, and it's always, sometimes it's often improvising in front of a market. So this is for sure at first, this has been an important barrier that we managed to overcome, I think, and we are still struggling with sometimes. And how can I say, let's call them sometimes institutional barriers, and I think this can also be linked with the question regarding organic and inorganic farming, because, for example, we saw that what really helped us has been, in a certain moment, a political interest in fostering the development of our type of solution. So there has been a moment of hype, let's say, regarding our technologies in the agricultural sectors. And so this has for sure helped us in finding our own way and finding new partnerships, which has been definitely the main, one of the main lever for us, so which allows us to grow. And at the same time, when we see that there is a shift in political interests, also at local level, I'm talking about, so like politics that changes in time quite often, this always become a sort of barrier and a challenge. And maybe actually I'm not an expert regarding environmental agricultural politics in Asia, but what happened in Europe, I think, is that organic farming really speed up when the organic label was created, and when European Commission and member states decided to invest a lot in organic farming. And this is when actually it's still growing, the phenomenon, but I think that we can say that in Europe now organic farming is kind of established, is well known by consumers. And this has happened actually in large part because member states provided funds to farmers to change their habits. So I'm not an expert regarding Asian politics, but I think that this is it when we talk about large scale change. And yeah, I hope I was clear.
Thank you so much, Chiara. Can we now ask Megan to react to the question about enablers and barriers, and also if you would like to touch upon organic farming, the floor is yours.
Okay. Yes. In the point of eco-friendly industry, yes. Let me talk first about the barriers. So when we started our business, actually, we started, 2019. But when we first started, in the beginning of 2010, so everybody was saying that plastic is such a most the cheapest and is easiest way to as a common items. But what are you doing for this? But we have been working for this. We have been fundamentally changing the raw materials if we can stop the plastics. So I would say that actually, yes, the very first thing is the prices. Actually, everybody admits that, yes, eco-friendly, that's fine, that's very good. It's going to be very, good for the environment. But at the end, when we talk about in the business way, So everybody's saying that, oh, yes, the prices. Actually, yes, the price. I mean, in the world that, we cannot beat the price of the plastics at this moment. But however, still people are saying that, they compare it like how much more expensive. So for me, I would say that like, the prices, so we always, have the barriers, to go further. And the second thing is that maybe the awareness, like, so it has been changed a lot. Since the past few years, but it's still saying that like when we talk about like eco-friendly, like products, that people and even countries, like even the regions, really they're not very like eager to ban the single-use plastics. But however, so what we have been doing is that, yes, we believe, we still believe that like, everything, from, like I mentioned that, the raw materials to the productions still, needs to be safe for the environment and also for our future generations as well. So yes, and enablers is that, I would say that for marine innovation, so we are like, focusing on, and then the raw materials, itself. So for us, like, we can probably say that, we are not using any like chemicals, and then we are reusing the byproduct, which is, as the raw materials. So this is something that our, like, consumers, like, customers, like, our business partners are asking for that. And then now they are ready, then they really want to accept, they are really demanding us, just to change the raw materials. This is something that, enable us, for, yes, keep moving forward, towards the next business models and the business cases. Thank you.
Thank you so much for providing such a comprehensive answer. And if now I could move with the same question to Gillian.
Yeah, thank you. So in terms of barriers or risks with Anitech, we anticipate 4. So the first one would be like a financial risk or financial barrier. With a startup like ours, it's very capital intensive. We would need a steady amount of funding for manufacturing, research, training, market awareness campaigns. So a way to mitigate that would be going for grant funding or VC funding, or definitely aggressive B2B sales of the systems that we're providing to our customers. The second would be a technology barrier. So definitely it will take some time to accelerate the maturity of the sensors from beyond the lab to making it commercially ready. And of course, there's additional unforeseen costs in manufacturing. So a way to mitigate that would be more pilot tests with different early adopters, partnership with research universities or accelerators that cater to deep tech startups, and definitely pivoting or iterating when necessary. The third would be a hiring barrier. I think everyone across the world is experiencing that tech talent crunch. And for a startup like ours, we would definitely need like teams of engineers experienced in IoT, material science, web developers, data science, and agricultural scientists. So these are very rare fields here in the Philippines. So we would really need to go into the universities that have high research capabilities. And I guess the last one would definitely be political barriers. Since the agricultural sector here in the Philippines and in most of ASEAN is very slow in adopting new technologies, there's a reluctance of agribusinesses that want to go into digitizing, and there's definitely not a lot of there's not enough local and national government policies and initiatives that can push the sector to doing food loss reduction initiatives or even adopting new technologies. So a way to mitigate that would really be for us startups to be part of roundtable discussions, policymaking initiatives and creation of white papers. So in terms of like scaling up, we would really need to be introduced to the right experts, the right people, the right incubators and accelerators that cater to agri-tech or deep tech startups. We would want to be connected to manufacturing partners as well, and business matchmaking, setting up pilot programs with different agribusinesses who want to try out our solution. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gillian, for like listing like multiple areas we could look at in also our future work. to make sure that we can also provide some support for the companies and agricultural sector and agri-food sector per se, including also technological innovation. And then having said that, I would like to move to Filipe and also remind the question about the seller and buyer that are arranging, whether they need to arrange their own logistic or there is some other solution to connect different parties involved.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm going to try to be brief, but it's going to be difficult with so many things to say. I feel completely aligned with many things that Gillian just said now in the last intervention, but try to be clear and quick. I would say that I would say the main barriers we are facing, and getting rid of those barriers, we can scale up easier. So one of the questions is one of the answers will answer to the other one. So I will start doing saying that one of the main barriers we have is a financial barrier. It's not only for a startup doing innovation like us. It's not only you don't only have to do everything well in terms of markets, coding, the right features for the right markets, but then you have to be an expert in financial raising. And being in Portugal is a big disadvantage, but because we look at different platforms trying to do the same as us, some of them are trying to copy the same solution, and only for being in a space where the financial resources are bigger and easy to access, they have a big advantage than compared with us. So this is critical. I know that if we were founded in different countries around the world with a much more sophisticated and developed space for development of startups, we'll be on position of doing much more funding raisings and have more financial resources to scale up. And that's a very strong barrier. Second, I think I would choose markets because market have some barriers concerning early adopters. When we are trying to put a sophisticated solution in the hand of people that have an average of above 60 years old, and some of them, they still have mobiles with buttons. They don't have an internet account. So this is a strong barrier. But I will combine these markets with culture and geography. I think we are based in Portugal, in Europe, but it's completely different to do a scale up of a business in Europe than to do a scale up in the United States, because they speak all the same language. They have not culture barriers among the countries, and we have to take into account in almost 30 countries in Europe. Every time you go to a different country is a different financial system, a different tax system. You have to speak the mother language to be credible. So the barriers of culture scale up in Europe is much a bigger challenge than to do in different parts or geographies in the world. The third and probably the most complicated to overcome is the politicals and regulations. As you could understand by my presentation, the only reason why I believe the carbon farming projects is not scaled up in Europe is basically because UE is not doing the right regulation, and they are not developing the right standards in order to scale up and to make it as large as possible in an inclusive regulation where every farmer can move and convert them to a more sustainable farming practices, generating their own credits in a free open market. So if that free open market it's not active, is because the regulation doesn't allow it. So we try to the regulation to be as much adapted to our business as possible, but we never expect that the regulation works against the scale up of a sustainable and more sustainable world. But in fact, is what it worked. In fact, it's what is happening right now in Europe in what concerns the carbon farming project and carbon farming business. So those are the three main constraints and the three main barriers. And if we get rid of each one of them, probably we will scale up much quicker and much easier. Going to the two questions that have been made in the question and answer forum, I will go to the logistic partners in Agri Marketplace. So we are relying on a logistic partner hand-to-hand solution logistic service provider that is OREI, but it's not a mandatory. If you want to use the logistics, we can take care of it, incorporated in the platform. So you only have to request for a price for the service you want, for the customs, for everything, and we will take care of every logistic services around the world. If you don't need that service, it's not mandatory. You can do it by your own. Okay. Concerning the last question is the organic development, organic production. I totally agree with I think Chiara that have told us that in Europe organic farming is increasing so much. So by the applications that farmers have made in Europe, I think every year we more than double the area that is being converted to organic farming and organic production modes. But nevertheless, I would like to leave two main concerns about these organic farming developments. I think organic farming in Europe are facing, because I don't know organic farming in different parts of the world. I only know organic farming sector in Europe specifically, and I think they are struggling about two issues that must be fixed and clarified in order to have a larger coverage in Europe. First of all is credibility. How much of this organic farming is in real organic? Because it's quite easy as a farmer to do organic without doing organic. So I think we have to be sure that when we stamp a product as organic, we have to be sure that it's coming following all the rules to be organic. Second is the feasibility. Why? Because there are still many crops where we cannot find solutions to convert them in organic. And I can tell you one example, for example, rice that I produce, and I've been making a lot of studies and a lot of trips trying to know many people around the world, to try to know the best practices and the benchmarking to convert my crop in organic, and I can't do it in a feasible and profitable way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the comprehensive answer, and both about enablers and barriers and regarding the farming and specific question to your business model. And I would like to also try if we have still connection with Amparo, and she could react to those questions. Amparo, are you with us?
Yes. Hopefully you can hear me well. Okay, so well, regarding our organic production, we are not so much in the field because we are in the part of technology provider. But I can give you our feelings regarding the drivers and barriers. SMEs, but mainly European SMEs companies, for not adopting technologies based on AI for improving their processes. So we conducted a survey in 2020 between near 500 SME from European companies from agri-food sector, and we found that the main drivers are granting access to practical environments where they can see the benefits and the return, or they can see the proof that the adoption of this kind of technology is profitable for them. In the same vein, the distribution of success case by other players in the food industry was identified as a key driver for adoption this kind of technologies or solutions. And finally, near 50% of the interview believe that more funding plans at European or national level would lower the barriers for the adoption of AI, as the lack of economic resources to invest in AI solutions also represents another serious limiting factor for companies, and especially small and medium companies adopting this kind of solution. And regarding the barriers, we also found that almost 50% of the companies declared to have less than the best that are available in a company for processing data, and only 4% of the companies that we surveyed declared to have data engineers in their team. So one of the big issues for SMEs within the agri-food sector is to recruit and retain staff with sufficient digital skills, and also because those profiles sorry, I lost the connection for a while.
Yes, we could hear you quite well for a while, and then suddenly it became really patchy. I'm just not sure what was I assume you were concluding your answer, so maybe we can try again to make the conclusion, and then I will just ask final question from this panel. Okay, I don't think it works at the moment, so let's try.
Okay,
let's try to allies with our technical team, and then we will try to connect again for the last question. I just would like to ask to all of you, because you have mentioned multiple things regarding scaling up your operations, what are the barriers, what are enablers. Mostly we are looking at the things that are quite common, to be very frank, to all the sectors, which are looking at the collaboration with universities, support of the technology, legal support and policy support for the technological advancement, how to make sure that the technologies become mainstream, and I assume therefore also more affordable, because obviously the early adopters and innovators are usually facing the biggest risk related with testing new things. And then the market sometimes is not yet ready to accept and run with it. But that's also the nature of being the innovator and like trying new things. And then while many times I've heard issue about grants and financing, what I would like to try to get from all of you, which is also something we would try to push, because what will happen after this conference, we will prepare the policy briefs, and then we would try to reach out to different governments using our connection to Asia-Europe meeting, which is the political process, but also through our collaboration with Grow Asia to World Economic Forum, and then using different stakeholders we have collaborating with us to have to make an attempt to have unified message. So if you would have one wish that what you would think would make the biggest difference for you. Like, so if this would happen from tomorrow, you know that it will be a breakthrough, and then you can expand, or you can become, or your everyday life will become easier. So if you can just prioritize one enabling factor or one element of the ecosystem that could help you, and then just conclude with this our session, that would be wonderful. Because if it would be as easy as saying, oh, we just need more money, I believe this would have already been done, because from what you said in your networks, you already had access to different kind of fundings, you won awards, you are innovating. So it might be that this is like a better arrangement for existing funding, but also you mentioned a couple of other things. So if I can just get briefly one thing from you that you would like to conclude, that we can also prioritize in our messages after this event, we would be really grateful. And maybe we can again start with Chiara, if that is okay, and then continue.
Yes, okay, that's not an easy question. And let's see, I think actually it's, can I say two things? One is very difficult, but there are two things that I believe are very are crucial, and they have already emerged from what we have been saying till now. I think the first one is regulation, and I agree with Filipe, it's standardization. And I mean, this applies quite everywhere. It's related to how to fire, but also how to access funding. And so this is very general and broad. And the second one is education. I don't know if it's related to Italy or it's more general, but I think that if universities, if technical schools, if there is the willingness to work together to increase knowledge in farmers or in actors in the system, I think this is another crucial barrier that we can overcome. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Chiara. Can we now hear from Megan?
Yes, actually, I mean, the question is very important for us as well. Yes, actually, I mean, yes, we have participated in many different, like, I mean, international, like, grants, like, competitions, and then, yes, as a result, then we have been able to achieve, I mean, all the, I mean, good awards, and also coming together with some grants as well. But in other hands, that, I mean, like everybody mentioned that, I mean, as a startup, so this is kind of like, for example, like marine innovation is like, we have good, innovative, like, technologies and everything. But the thing is that, we are just a startup, and then we are doing the outsourcing. But that's why, we have been trying to get, to raise a funding. But however, like, but the gap, like, to go through, to get the funding is not very easy. Like, all the, like, investors, like, saying that, okay, yeah, I'm not saying that, yes, and then I'm not talking bad about them, but yeah, because their focus and then what they want to have, like, 2, 3 years, that, they can get the money back very easily, and then with, like, high net profits. That's why, for us, like, because, like, the manufacturers, like, the products that, the business models we have is like, it's kind of like, time consuming, like, it's not, we don't really make profits. Yeah, with, like, high end, like, machines or facilities that will help us, to increase our sales. But the fact is that, like, it's always like, it's kind of like, we always feel that, the ball is in not our, like, net, like, so, it's not
okay,
very.
So can I just conclude that the issue is about access to funding? This is what you are saying that would help?
Yes, that would help. Like, yes, this is something that, yeah, I would like to mention about.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we now move to Gillian?
Yeah, so I guess if I had one wish, it would definitely be having direct access or connections with government agencies or international organizations that could help Anitech be part of programs involved in making global agri value chain policies, roadmaps, plans, and standards. Because, you know, having them recognize us as a commercial standard for food traceability, food quality testing, and or food loss reduction can get all stakeholders of the agri supply chain, you know, on board to use our system. Secondary wish would definitely be working with bigger agribusinesses or bigger agricultural corporations, because I feel like if we prove that our system can work with corporations like them, it would be a little bit easier doing fundraising, a little bit.
Okay, thank you so much. Dear Filipe, can we move now to your one wish? I think you are muted.
Yeah, sorry. Look, my wish will be definitely to have a big revolution in carbon farming regulation and politics. So if you think about the actual situation of carbon farming, you have one standard based in Vira, standard based in US, and the gold standard based in UK, but you don't have a standard for UE. And instead of each country develop its own standard, it should be very useful that we have a new EU standard for carbon farming, and a standard that can be possible to include everyone that wants to move for a more sustainable farming practices. So an inclusive standard, and also based on these carbon farming projects, to open the mandatory markets to a open, free, voluntary market. So everyone can generate their own carbon credits and sell their own carbon credits generated in their farms to every company and industries all over Europe and the world. This is my wish.
Thank you so much. And I just would like to check if we have better connection with Amparo at this stage, so we can check about her wish. Amparo, are you?
I can try, but
okay,
I'm
let's
not
try.
sure. Yes, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
so yes, my wish is to have it's something that has been already said. Clear standards and clear regulations, clear or straightforward and homogeneous standard and regulations. So we can we are not obliged to deal with too many standards, too many regulations, because I'm doing more focus on the technology part, and that's my wish. That's my wish. Standards and regulations, but more homogeneous and straightforward.
Thank you so much for bringing this up. So I am just getting ready to conclude the session with the main message, or the key message being that by popular demand, it seems like having the clear regulation and standards, but not only in Europe, but also in Asia, would be something to definitely look for. And I couldn't agree more as well, because when we were preparing for this conference and we were looking at even data and what is happening in Asia and Europe, the standards and the variety of approaches is overwhelming. And then what is also considered innovation in one country might not be considered the same way in another country. And data collection and the approaches, and especially for emerging trends and new technologies, this is challenging. And if we pair it up with funding, and then especially also looking at the things and solutions that are related with carbon funding or carbon financing, that would be also something that that might definitely tip the scale. And having said that, I would like to really thank you all for taking time and contributing to our discussion. And then we are looking forward to other events and staying in touch. And I also would like to compliment you on behalf all the participants and organizers for the excellent work you are doing in making a difference. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.